joined us in the last 2-3 years, that's really when things really started to get going. Look at the results with Alicia, right? I mean, 2 years, Green Jacket, soon to be a CEO, soon to be a $250,000 earner in 2 years, right? That's the speed that the system now is running at. If you joined maybe in mid-2000s like Vivian did, right, it took her around 9 years to become an EVC, right? So she cut the time frame in half of what I did. Do you understand that? But then, guess what? People like Alicia will be EVC in half the time it took Vivian to get to where she is today. And she'll be $500,000 earner by next month, probably. So it'll take, so imagine that, right? So look at our example, right? So Joyce and I took 18 years to get to where we are. Vivian does it in 9 years, right? Alicia will probably take it in 4 years, and soon there will be some people who come in 2 years and do the same thing. That's how fast and how quick the system is running right now. And if you don't catch on to that, you're going to be left behind like we were for a long time. You know, my son is, this is why I feel so old nowadays. My son is, he just turned 18, and he's a senior in high school. So now, when I joined the business, when Joyce and I joined the business, my son was 1 year old. It makes you feel old, right? Imagine that. We joined when my son was 1 year old, right? We were carrying him, you know, to our eating after the meeting. You know, I still remember Bay 101. You know, Joyce would bring Nathan after we pick him up from the babysitter, lug him around on his carrier. We'd lay him down on the table next to her, you know, where we were eating after the meeting. We'll stay till 2 a.m., sometimes 3 a.m., just talking about business, talking about life, enjoying the company and the camaraderie. And then at 3 a.m., and 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., we'd bring him back home, and, you know, he'd be sleeping. And, you know, a lot of people say, you guys are crazy. I said, no, we're not crazy. I asked Nathan today, if you ask Nathan today, what do you remember when you were 1? Right? If I ask you today, what do you remember when you were 1? Nothing. What do you remember when you were 2? Nothing. Right? So I said to myself, you know, so for the people who say, hey, you were crazy, no, we weren't. We had a strategy. We had a plan. It was all planned out that way. You know, I thought to myself, I said, you know what, I might as well do this, right, while he's young, you know, so that later on we can, you know, we can be more successful. We can enjoy the kids once they have, you know, their memory, then they can start remembering things. That's when I'll be there for their, you know, for their concerts. You know, some people, in this day and age, some people wonder, you know, when I go to, do you guys have, how many of you have kids, like little kids in school right now, right? School age, like grade school age, right? Think about this, right? When my son was in grade school, when Nathan was in grade school, I would walk into like a daytime, you know, whatever, activity or plaything at school, right? And guess who would be there? All the, not parents, all the moms, right? And then there's me and Joyce walking in, and everyone looks at me funny. This guy's either a bum, right? Or he's unemployed, right? And so we were actually, at that point, yes, people were saying, you know, you were weird, right? And I tell them, yeah, we are abnormal, right? We are not normal. We are abnormal. We chose to be abnormal. We chose an abnormal life so we can have an abnormal travel. We have abnormal income. We can have abnormal everything. Because what's a good in being normal, right? So anyway, I'm getting old. I'm looking at you know, my son's now applying for college, or he already did, but he's thinking of careers, right? So if you look at this article from Yahoo, it talks about the 6 fast-growing careers taking over the United States, right? So number 6 was, oops, how do we do this? Okay. Wow, magically focused, right? I don't have to do the Alec Chan. Zoom in. Right? Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. So number 6 was software developer, right? So, you know, the typical path, right? Computers, maybe, right? Number 5, right? Typical Filipino path, right? Physical therapy, right? Or therapy assistant in this case is what they're calling. You know why? Because physical therapy nowadays, a lot of my teammates are physical